All right, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to do something pretty fascinating. We're taking a super simple, straightforward travelogue of a family holiday in Portugal, and we are putting it straight under the microscope. Why? Well, because within this short little recount of a family getaway lies the exact formula for a perfect vacation. Seriously. We're going to break down the anatomy of this trip to uncover the precise ingredients that turned a standard week away into an absolutely unforgettable experience.
I want to hook you right away with this glowing review pulled straight from the end of our source text. It was one of the best trips we ever had. Now that is a massive statement. I mean, when a family travels together, getting everyone to agree that a trip was one of the absolute best, no small feat. So as we go through this explainer today, keep this quote in the back of your mind. What specific elements, what exact combination of sights, sounds, and experiences earn this trip such incredibly high praise? Let's trace their steps and find out.
Section 1. Arrival in Lisbon.
The rhythm of travel anticipation is absolutely fascinating. They start early in the morning, leaving Madrid behind. Then we get the journey itself, driving for several hours. But notice this key detail from the text. The weather was sunny, and everyone felt very excited. That sunny weather is almost like a physical reflection of their high spirits, right? By the time they arrive in Lisbon in the afternoon, that palpable excitement has been building for hours on the open road. The journey isn't just transit, it's literally the warm-up act for the whole holiday.
And this brilliantly illustrates the importance of a home base. Upon arriving, they check into a small hotel. But the source text gives us this very specific, grounding detail. The room had a balcony with a beautiful view of the city. It isn't just a place to sleep, it's an immediate, stunning introduction to Lisbon. Having that balcony view instantly connects them to their new surroundings, probably before they've even unpacked their bags. It establishes a strong sense of place right from the very first afternoon.
So, after a short rest, the family jumps right into their first exploration, striking a perfect balance. They walk through the old streets, grounding themselves in the history of the city. They visit a famous castle, knocking out a major landmark. And of course, they take plenty of photographs to capture it all. But the crucial point here is that final detail, seeing the river and the red roofs from a hilltop. That sweeping vantage point gives them the complete visual layout of Lisbon. It's that classic travel moment of looking out over a brand new city and realizing, wow, we are really here.
Then, we see this brilliant transition from visual experiences to sensory and human ones. For dinner, the text highlights two things: delicious grilled fish at a traditional restaurant and a very friendly waiter. This is where the cultural immersion really kicks in. It's not just about what they're seeing anymore, it's about what they're tasting and who they're interacting with. That positive human connection with a friendly waiter elevates a simple meal into this warm, welcoming memory on their very first night.
Moving on to Section 2. Exploring the city center.
Day 2 is all about engaging with the city's pulse. They start by taking a tram to the city center, which is this active, deeply local mode of transit. They explore several squares, soaking in the architecture and the crowds. But what I absolutely love here are the souvenirs. The narrator's sister chooses a colorful bag, and the narrator buys a small ceramic tile. These aren't just random purchases. They're tangible, physical anchors for their travel memories. That small ceramic tile and that colorful bag are going to sit in their homes in Madrid and instantly transport them back to those sunny squares in Lisbon.
Oh, and we absolutely cannot ignore this culinary indulgence. Later that day, they stop at a cafe to try some Portuguese cakes. The source text gives us a detail that is just universally relatable. The cakes tasted so good that they ordered a second plate. Come on, we've all been there. It's a wonderful, simple moment of vacation joy. There's no rushing, no strict itinerary holding them back, just the pure delight of enjoying local food so much that you pause everything just to have a little more.
Section 3. A windy day at Cascades.
Up until now, the trip has been completely defined by the warm, predictable, sunny environment of the city. The old streets and comfortable cafe squares. But on day 3, they travel to a beach near Cascais, and the environment completely shifts. They are met with a cold sea and strong winds. It's bracing, it's unpredictable, and honestly, it provides a stark, refreshing contrast to the urban exploration they've been doing for the past 2 days.
The text actually outlines a fantastic, spontaneous little action sequence here. Even though the sea was cold, they went swimming anyway. But as they're trying to relax on the sand, the wind suddenly becomes stronger. They have to pack all their things quickly, grab their bags, and make a retreat to the hotel. It's a sudden shift in the weather, sure, but it turns into a dynamic, memorable narrative beat. It's exactly the kind of minor vacation hiccup that families look back on later and laugh about. It adds a rush of adrenaline and a bit of spontaneity to the whole trip.
But look at how beautifully they resolve that chaotic afternoon. That night, the text tells us they watched the sunset from the balcony. After the cold wind and the frantic packing at the beach, they just return to the familiar comfort of that balcony view we talked about on day 1. It provides this peaceful, calming resolution to an eventful day, closing the loop perfectly.
Section 4. Local markets and language. Before heading out of Lisbon, they visit a large market near the river. Notice the geographical tie-in here. On their very first day, they looked down at the river from a hilltop, taking it all in from a distance. Now, on their final day, they are right down next to it, completely immersing themselves in the bustling, ground-level atmosphere of a large market. It shows a brilliant progression in how they are experiencing the destination. And right here, we find what is arguably the most important element of travel, the human element. At the market, they didn't just look at goods. They actively engaged. They talked to local people, and they even learned a few Portuguese words. They made a real effort to step outside their comfort zone and connect across a language barrier. This is the kind of authentic engagement that transforms you from a mere spectator into an active participant in the culture you are visiting.
Section 5. Anatomy of a perfect trip.
At the end of the week, they make the drive back home. On one side, you have their physical state. They're tired from the long drive. But emotionally, they felt very happy with the holiday. That physical exhaustion is completely outweighed by their soaring emotional satisfaction. It's a wonderful, specific feeling that I think so many of us recognize after a truly great getaway.
Which brings us right back to that powerful concluding sentiment from the text. We were tired, but we felt very happy with our holiday. When you look at the anatomy of this trip, you see exactly why. It wasn't about an exhausting, overplanned itinerary, not at all. It was the perfect mix of sweeping historical sites, delightful sensory details, like ordering that second plate of cakes, the spontaneity of a windy beach day, and genuine local connection at the market. That exact combination is what creates this wonderful type of happy exhaustion.
And that leads me to leave you with this final thought. What simple moments make your holidays unforgettable? Is it the view from a tiny hotel balcony, a friendly waiter at a local restaurant, or maybe a colorful souvenir bought in a sunny square? This story proves that the anatomy of a perfect trip isn't necessarily about grand luxury. It's about presence, engagement, and finding real joy in those simple, unexpected moments. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it gave you a whole new perspective on the art of travel.